welcome back to Dunlap High School. It is game number 2 of our doubleheader between the Washington Panthers and the Dunlap Eagles. Now this time, it's the boys' game. We are ready to get started here. We're going right into the national anthem. We'll get the starters and preview this one right after the anthem. A great national anthem sung by some choir members here at Dunlap High School, and we're getting ready to go here for the Panthers and the Eagles, the boys edition. The game was scheduled to tip off at 3, but we're running a little ahead of schedule. The girls' game ended a little bit earlier, and we went through senior day ceremonies. More than a couple seniors for the Dunlap Eagles. Griffin Card, Taylon Thierer, Logan Mason, Alex Evans, Ryan DiGelinardo, Austin Schomburg, and Jonathan Bai all being honored before this game. Their last home one here at the Eagles' Nest, at least in conference play. They'll host Ottawa on a Wednesday, but season is winding down. Playoffs right around the corner as the lights come out here in the Eagles' Nest. We'll get starting lineups to you for Washington. They will go with Jake Stewart, their freshman forward, James Johnson, Jamari White, senior guard, and then Bernie Winnie and Braden Vanderheit. Those will be the 5 for the Washington Panthers. For Dunlap, they will go with Griffin Card, one of their seniors, as well as Taylon Thierer, another senior, and Logan Mason, yet another senior for Dunlap, and then Alex Evans and Jonathan Bai. So all senior starting lineup for Dunlap here on today. Lots of experience on this Eagles squad. They tossed a couple t-shirts. One of them landed a little bit short. Cheerleaders brought some glow sticks out. Good atmosphere here in Dunlap. Solid crowd for a Saturday afternoon. Should be ready for a really good game, Josh. Two teams that are right in the thick of things in the Mid-Illini Conference.
Yeah, good to be here for this one, John. We just got off of a great women's game. Two teams that are smack dab in the middle of the Mid-Illini Conference, and this one has seeding implications tonight based on how these two teams do today. It's a big one late in the season.
Tip-off is won by Dunlap. Jonathan Bai wins it against Jamari White, and the Eagles will start with the basketball. They turn it over quickly. Now it's White with it. Gives it off to Bernie Winnie, who's really emerged for Washington this year. Here's James Johnson, their freshman forward. Lots of hype around him. He will be a special player for the Panthers. And Jamari White's jumper no good, but Johnson there for the board. Jake Stewart kicks it down low to Braden Vanderheit. Working in and had it stripped away. Now here comes Dunlap. They instead elect to slow things down. Eagles a very strong three-point shooting team, Josh. We saw it in their game against East Peoria a little over a week ago when we were there at the home gym of the Raiders. Griffin Card, Gabe Munoz, and Ryan DiGelinardo, Max Sutter, Austin Schomburg, everybody on the floor for Dunlap can knock down threes at any given point. Got to be a point of emphasis for them here today.
Yeah, that game against East Peoria was really high scoring, and this one might be high scoring as well. So especially beyond the arc, that's going to be some good action early.
foul here on Dunlap. That will go on Austin Schaumburg, their senior swingman. And the first free throw of James Johnson's up and good. That's the first point of this ball game. And number 2 is up and good, so Johnson goes 2 for 2 at the free throw line. And now here comes the backcourt press from Washington, but Johnson fouled Logan Mason there. Right before this game, Josh, we saw an absolute classic of a girls basketball game between the 2 top teams in the Mid-Illini and Dunlap and Washington. How about the finish in that? Sophia Remmel winning it nearly at the buzzer with a corner 3 to give Dunlap their first win over Washington since 2020.
Yeah, that was an amazing game. Washington led most of the way, but at the buzzer, it was Dunlap who was able to sneak it out.
Their first win over the Panthers in 2 years. It's actually back to 2021, the spring of 2021, the COVID season. In the Mid-Illini Conference title game, as White's pass was blocked there by DiGelinardo, has another chance and can't get it to go.
A couple of turnovers early in this game. We had 3 in a row right off of the tip-off.
3 ball in the corner from Card is no good, but rebound is brought in there by Schaumburg. He'll settle for a 3 with Winnie right in his grill, and he drained it. Austin Schaumburg, what a shot to get Dunlap going on the board early on. Schaumburg scored 8 in their game against Canton last night, a big win for the Dunlap Eagles, who are 5-6 in the Mid-Illini Conference and in 5th place. Washington, by comparison, 7-4 in the conference, as that one nearly tossed away, and 14-11 overall. So be a big win for Dunlap if they can pull this one out here at home and get 1 game closer to Washington in the Mid-Illini standings, Josh.
Yeah, Washington is currently in 4th, but they have a shot at creeping up on Morton and East Peoria, who are just a game or 2 ahead of them in the standings. Dunlap's a little bit more mired in the center, but a win tonight would help.
But threes like that from Jake Stewart won't help. A big 3 there from the Panthers senior guard, who's scored hundreds of points in a Panther uniform. I believe he recently joined the 1,000-point club, for not mistaken. So a great career for Jake Stewart, as Johnson's jumper in the post, no good. Vanderheit, tough angle, trying to flip it up and in, is no good. Now here comes Schaumburg on the break against Winnie.
A lot of possessions so far, but very few of them have been turned into points.
Schaumburg backing in on the post, and looks like he got a foul called against him. That will be go on a Winnie. That will be his first, and a pair of subs come in for Dunlap. That's Gabe Munoz and freshman forward Max Sutter. Sutter, a great freshman for Dunlap, as they inbound it to Card, speeds in, drives baseline, it's up and good. Griffin Card with his first bucket of the game after a 17-point night against the Little Giants not even 24 hours ago.
Yeah, and that was a good win for Dunlap. That's what they needed to do. They did what they needed to do, had a couple of great scores, and they're now tied up in this one.
Physical play there on the ball between Griffin Card and James Johnson. Jump ball will favor Washington.
Speaking of getting tied up.
Tied 5-all here in the first 3 minutes of play. Again, if you're just tuning in, we're glad you're with us here on Clutch Sports Media or our website, clutchsportsil.com. A Saturday doubleheader. Got some extra time tonight. Go ahead and watch our on-demand, our stream of the Washington Dunlap girls game right before this, as Sutter comes away with a steal, drives in with a Euro step, and he knocks Stewart to the floor, but he'll be called for the foul, and that will send Sutter, the Dunlap freshman, to the line.
He also put up 17 points, although that was at the game versus IVC a couple of days ago, but some strong performances for the freshman this year.
Certainly he's a one to watch in the Mid-Illini. And in 3 years' time, boy, Max Sutter for Dunlap and James Johnson for Washington will be probably almost running the conference probably by that point. You're already getting starting time as a freshman, and they're only going to grow from here on out. And Sutter drops one free throw in to give Dunlap a 1-point advantage. In the game for Washington, C.J. Duncan, number 10, who checked in. And Johnson drives in, and he was blocked there by DiGelinardo. It'll stay with Washington, but a big play there on the defensive end from the Eagles. Very big team Dunlap is. They got Sutter at 6'5", and then Schaumburg and DiGelinardo bring a lot of size as well.
Yeah, they sure do, and Sutter's actually the only freshman that we have here listed on the roster of guys who frequently play, as a three gets knocked down there.
C.J. Duncan checked in recently for Washington, gives the Panthers the lead, and here's a big steal there from Johnson. Freshman on freshman here, and Sutter poked it away. Now it's Stewart, finds Duncan, now over to Braden Vanderheit. Back to Duncan, deja vu, no good. And Dunlap pulls it back out away. Here comes Munoz speeding up the court. Drives it in there on Stewart, and he was set and draws the charge. Offensive foul on Dunlap. Nice job and awareness done there by Jake Stewart. Good number of fouls in the early going so far in this one. Josh, a similar pattern to what we saw in the last game. Very physical ball game between the Panthers and the Eagles, and shaping it to be the same on the boys' side here tonight too.
Sure was, although Dunlap minimized the fouls early on. They were forced to foul a little bit more later because they were trailing for the majority of the game. But Washington had the foul lead throughout the game, and they're up 3-2 foul-wise so far.
Three ball here from Alex Evans is good. And Dunlap draining in a couple triples early on. That's their specialty. Called them the Golden State Warriors of the Mid-Illini Conference.
4 different players have scored already. 9 points on the board, and they're in the lead.
Brewer with it here in the near corner, being defended there by Evans. One thing to watch will be Washington's entry passes to the post. The Panthers a much smaller team than they have been in recent memory. I think that's got to be the main storyline of this game is its size, because Washington's as small as they've been in quite some time. Dunlap, one of the biggest teams in the Mid-Illini Conference, maybe outside of Metamora. And that will be a carry there on Washington. I believe that may have, didn't see if that was Vanderheit or Stewart. Johnson checks back in for Washington as Vanderheit checks out. This game, Josh, a part of the Blackout Cancer Day here that Dunlap is having. You saw both teams wearing some warm-ups that said Blackout Cancer and all black shirts with Dunlap Washington logos on them. So really nice mementos and shirts for this occasion. Again, the Dunlap community being affected by one of their very own, Tessa Sutton, as a three ball from Evans is good. He's got 2 of those so far, and Dunlap with a great start to this one. They lead by 4.
Both threes from Evans, and that does give Dunlap a lead.
Washington wants the response. It's no good, but the offensive rebound from Brewer is also no good. Johnson with the left hand cleans it up. Going back to Dunlap, Josh, as Schaumburg throws one up. Obviously, Tessa Sutton, a Dunlap student here who has a rare form of cancer. They are dedicating the season and lots of fundraising to her. They've raised over $75,000 in just a week, as the action here on the court has been at breakneck speed, tied up all at 12.
But that's been a really nice thing that the Peoria community has really been doing for Dunlap. Obviously, Tessa Sutton well loved by members here, by the student body here at Dunlap. The Morton girls team had a very nice gesture last night. The Washington girls team earlier today shook hands and went and hugged all the players this morning pregame. A lot of support for everyone, even amongst these rivals on the court.
Certainly a great day of basketball for a great cause. Down the post here now is James Johnson, and there'll be a tie-up, and possession arrow favors Dunlap, so there will be a change of possession. back and forth action in this one. When we found out we were going to do this doubleheader, Josh, I was really excited because I knew that both these teams were about as evenly matched as you could. Washington girls, the leaders in the Mid-Illini Conference, Dunlap right behind them. And then you got Washington number 4 in the Mid-Illini and boys, and then Dunlap right behind them as well. And couldn't really draw up a better day of basketball if you're a Mid-Illini fan. Some of the closest matchups that you'll see all season long.
And in these close games, it really turns a little gritty and a little more physical. Although the shooting in this game so far from beyond the arc has been elite.
Alex Evans says, I don't need to get physical. I can just stay around here and shoot some threes. He's got 9, all on three-pointers so far for Dunlap.
Hot start for the Eagles.
Andre Lewis with it now for Washington. Being defended there by Evans. Or rather, that was Card defending. Three-pointer here is Brewer at the top of the key and no good. Dunlap can go if they have some time. They do. Evans, floater is good. Alex Evans is draining everything in the first quarter. What a shot. That was a tough one to get off. And he had Braden Vanderheit ready to swat that thing into the hallway. 11 points for Alex Evans, and the Eagles lead 17-12 after one quarter.
Yeah, he's gotten almost all of the points for the Eagles so far, including that last-second shot. Alex Evans has been off to a hot start, and in a game that matters in the Mid-Illini Conference, you couldn't ask for anything more from Evans today.
3 quarters left to play still, but he did all about he could in that first quarter. We'll take a quick break to thank our sponsor for today's broadcast, Jake Weston State Farm in Washington. For all of your insurance needs, give Jake a call, whether it's auto, home, or life, 309-444-4441, or go to his website at jakewestoninsurance.com. I want to thank Jake and all of the other sponsors here that make our broadcast here at Clutch Sports and Media possible. I want to thank you, our viewers, for tuning in this afternoon. Hopefully you're having a relaxing Saturday. We're sure having fun here in Dunlap. Eagles lead 17-12. Great first half of action. And it will be Washington to get things going here in the second quarter.
Dunlap having a great start to senior night, especially for Alex Evans, one of these seniors. He's really been showing up. Exciting start.
Certainly, and a couple of seniors for Washington as well. Jamari White, Jake Stewart, Micah Brewer, Trenton Spangler, all seniors for them. So we have a foul there called against Dunlap that will go on Griffin Card. Both these teams have 3 regular season games remaining before the playoffs get started. Washington, they will host Emmanuel on Tuesday before hosting Canton as well. Then going to Morton for their regular season finale. So some tough contests coming up for them as White dribbles in, almost dunked it. Can't come away with it there. Now here's Vanderheit, ball all over the place. Wild shot, got it to go. Braden Vanderheit with the circus shot through contact.
What a chaotic but somehow effective sequence of events there for Vanderheit.
That's a great adjective to describe this game, Josh. I'd definitely say it's chaotic for sure. I mean, both these teams are pushing back and forth, some crazy shots, lots of three-pointers. I mean, if you want to, you're maybe sleeping in on your Saturday morning and you're still maybe kind of getting going for your day, this game will get you going and it'll wake you up for sure. As Washington brings back the press, Dunlap gets it across before getting a 10-second call, and there'll be a foul. That will go on James Johnson. That will be his second team foul. Both these teams in a bit of foul trouble early on. Washington with 4, Dunlap with 5 team fouls as Johnson checks out.
And he's been the #1 scorer so far for Washington, 6 points on the board out of 15 for them. Freshman getting it done.
Another 3-ball for Dunlap. It's no good. A couple bodies hit the floor. Now Washington has a 4-on-2 advantage, led by Stewart. Kicks it out to Bernie Winnie for 3.
What
It's good.
a look that was.
Washington took advantage of two Eagles who had fallen into the hardwood, and now Stewart comes away with another steal. Here come the Panthers, blocked by Max Sutter. Holy moly.
Talk about chaotic. That was indescribable.
Max Sutter just absolutely obliterated that layup from Jake Stewart, and Stewart wasn't happy about it, I can tell. Look on his face. My word, what a block. I knew it was going to be a tough contest with a 6'5" Sutter. And it looks like there was a technical foul assessed to Dunlap. And Jake Stewart will get some technical free throws.
Gonna have to put that basketball in concussion protocol after that block.
That's one way to put it. Stewart's first technical free throw is good. Didn't see who it was on. It may have been Evans, but not quite sure. Also could have been on Sutter too. It looks like it was on Evans. That's his first team foul, and the 6th on Dunlap. So that's a huge momentum swinger for Washington, who was down 17-12. Now they've scored 8 straight. That big three-pointer from Winnie, and then the technical free throws. So maybe tough stretch there for Dunlap. I thought you were going to get a big block, but instead you give up. Oh my word!
Wow.
Jake Stewart with a deep three, and he is cooking now for Washington.
8 points out of nowhere.
5 points on that possession there. He almost came away with a steal. An 11-0 run just like that in 1.5 minutes. What a second quarter to start for the Washington Panthers.
Yeah, just as looking like Dunlap maybe has a little bit of the edge. Kind of reverse roles from that girls game earlier where it looked like Dunlap was maybe going to be leading for a good bit. Washington just comes storming back.
Out of nowhere too, but again, Dunlap can light it up from 3, or they can almost get it done down low. Ryan DiGelinardo missed the bunny there, and they'll go back to the Panthers. So opportunity to build on that 11-0 run. That's crushing for Dunlap after that big block. Just can't have that technical foul there on Evans. You give him not only 2 free throws, but you also gave him the ball in which Stewart drained that NBA range 3. Duncan now over to Brewer. Washington swinging it around, and how about the active hands from the Eagles? They've been all over the place, and another foul on Braden Vanderheit. Whistles have been coming early and often in this one. Both teams with, I believe that makes it 6 team fouls.
Assuming the scoreboard isn't a little laggy.
True, we have had a couple small issues with the scoreboard, but
looks like 6
as it
apiece.
stands right now, 6 apiece, and it is 6 because if that was 7, Dunlap would be shooting 1 in the bonus. And Schaumburg and Winnie get tied up. Lots of players have been hitting the floor so far. Hopefully no one gets hurt later on. Vanderheit, a deep 3 from the corner is no good. Now here comes Sutter. Bucket. They find DiGelinardo. He's there, but that'll put DiGelinardo at the line with a chance to end the drought for Dunlap.
That pass was really well threaded through the Washington defense and gave DiGelinardo that shot at getting the basket. Pick up a point here.
DiGelinardo gets his first bucket to fall, and that's some things that Dunlap does really well is they pass the ball well, they shoot the three-pointer well, they mix it in with some size. So, you know, their record, you look at it, only 500 right now. Could get over that hump with a win today as DiGelinardo, 6-2 out of 2. But I think Dunlap, is really a sleeper team because on any given night, they could hurt potentially anybody. They real close to Metamora as one of the state-ranked teams as here comes Schaumburg for the slam. He wanted it but lost track of it. DiGelinardo cleans it up though and puts it back in. But Austin Schaumburg wanted to prove a point with that slam there, but it just fell out of his hands.
Yeah, just a little bit of missed ball handling there. Great cleanup by DiGelinardo though.
Andre Lewis now with it for Washington. Intense ball game so far. Duncan's triple is good. The response for Washington comes in the form of C.J. Duncan's second 3 of the ball game. See there. And a free 3 ball from Logan Mason was no good. Back and forth action. Boy, these teams are getting some conditioning, to put it one way, I guess. Washington holding the 5-point lead, although Dunlap's been right there with them. Here's Vanderheit, gives it over to Lewis. It'll slow things down now for Washington. Washington, typically a team that plays well in their half-court sets. When they slow it down, Duncan, another three is no good. Rebound fought for, and it will go to Dunlap. Munoz checks in as Talon Thierer checks out for the Eagles. Thierer, one of the 7 seniors for Dunlap that were honored before this game. We had initially planned on trying to potentially show the senior day ceremony, but as soon as that girls game was done, the teams cleared the court. They were right on that senior day ceremony.
They played some hurry up offense on us.
They did. Yeah, they went no huddle. So if you're just tuning in, this game did start about 15 minutes ahead of schedule at about 2:45. As
never seen that before. Normally the games start 15 minutes late.
Usually. Although there's been a couple of times where the games have started early. I believe we had one back at Richwoods, I think, last week. Foul there on Jamari White for Washington. That will be his 2nd foul. Team 8th for Washington. Sutter's free throw, no good. Tipped around. It'll stay with Dunlap. Nice job there by Ryan DiGelinardo, tipping it off of the fingers of Braden Vanderheit. Lots of letters down in the post. DiGelinardo, Vanderheit, two of the longer last names that you'll see in the entire conference. Sears Sutter working on Gabe Patterson. First time we've called his name today, the junior guard for Washington. Dunlap also slowing it down too. It's Munoz. Now over to Card. He drives in on DeAndre Jackson. His layup no good. Scoring starting to slow down a touch, but it came fast and furious in the first couple of minutes of this one. Dunlap led 17-12 after the first quarter, but an 11-0 run from Washington gave him the advantage now as Vanderheit had it taken away from him. Although Brewer gives it back to Patterson, and that's an over and back. That ball was ping-ponging back and forth across the half-court line, and you knew that there was going to be a over and back there.
Playing all kinds of sports in this game. We had a track meet earlier. Had some
track
ping-pong
meet, ping-pong. We've seen some football, maybe some tackling. A couple physical plays. Saw Max Sutter and Jake Stewart get tangled up after a block from Sutter. That was a highlight reel one there. Patterson goes behind the back, working there on Griffin Card. Nice cut there by Brewer. Shot fakes Munoz and one. Micah Brewer gets on the score sheet with some emphasis and extends the Washington lead out to 7. A big bucket there for their senior guard.
Most importantly, that kind of ends that lull of Washington scoring that we'd been seeing. They jumped out to that big lead, then Dunlap kind of fought back just a little bit here and there, but Washington is now back up by 8 points, and they're going to be comfortable with that lead, closing in on the end of the first half.
2.5 left to play here in the second quarter. Lots of action so far in this one. So far it's been Jake Stewart leading the way for Washington with 7, and Alex Evans, who had an 11-point first quarter for Dunlap. Hasn't scored since and one from DiGelinardo, though. He's starting to get things going here in the second quarter, and he'll head to the line with a chance to finish off the old-fashioned hoop in the harm.
6 points over the past couple of minutes for DiGelinardo. He only got 6 points last night versus Canton. He's already matched that so far today.
Chance to exceed it at the line, and no good. Could possibly call a broadcaster's jinx if you want to. That one will go back to Washington as Schaumburg hit the floor. Yeah, I think Austin Schaumburg has probably hit the floor, I think, already at least 3 times in this game.
We do need a tally of that, I'm pretty sure.
Give him the floor burn award from this game. Washington throws it away. Andre Lewis turns it over, gives it to Gabe Munoz on the long pass. Schaumburg feeds Sutter in the post, and Jackson took a hard fall. My word. I don't know if I've ever seen so many players hit the floor so much in this one.
it feels like just about every trip down to the basket, we've had someone come away with a knee abrasion.
Get the ice packs out, ready for halftime. No one's been hurt, though, which has been good to see. As Sutter will head to the line in the double bonus, so he'll shoot 2. That foul going on Andre Lewis of Washington.
And as you would expect with so many bodies hitting the floor, a lot of fouls in this first half.
Certainly, as Sutter gets it up to go, and I think, Dunlap for them, I think they kind of want to be the bullies in this one with their size advantage over Washington. Again, 3 big forwards in DiGelinardo, Sutter, and Schaumburg. Nice pass there from Lewis, but it got tipped out. Dunlap says that it should be our ball, and I think they might have a case for it. I thought that one was just straight out of bounds.
Well, if it was tipped, then that is great, great awareness by DeAndre Jackson to not touch that as it was going out of bounds.
Certainly, they're going to look at Dunlap head coach Patrick Pockerney, who was hoping to get his team the ball back. Happened too quickly to see who it actually went out off of. Vanderheit drives in on DiGelinardo, gets it to go. Braden Vanderheit with a nice bucket as he is up to 5 now, and the lead back to 7 for Washington. As soon as I look up, Griffin Card on the other end lays it in, going left hand to right hand, spins it off the glass up and in. On the other end, another block from DiGelinardo. He rejected Patterson that time. Something tells me that that's not going to be the last block that we'll see from Dunlap today.
We've already seen multiple. Already a couple of highlight reel blocks, as a matter of fact.
Washington are going to have to beat Dunlap from the outside. That inbounds pass got kicked off of the foot of Card, so it will stay with Washington.
Washington has so far 15 of their 31 points, almost half, have come from 3-pointers.
That sounds about on par for this Dunlap team, as
nearly got another.
Brewers 3 was no good, but Dunlap a team that can really shoot the ball and can pound you down low too, and their forwards can shoot threes, but DiGelinardo
keeps things
cooking.
Explosive second quarter, my goodness.
He's heating up. 8 points for him now on his senior day at the Eagles' nest. He's got the Eagles 2 within 3. Nearing a minute left to play here in the first half. As Jackson feeds Brewer. Washington, a team that usually likes to hold the ball for quite a while before their last shot of the half. We'll see if they do that here. Duncan drives in, kicks it out to Braden Vanderheit. 3-ball is up and good. How about the back and forth battle from Braden Vanderheit and Ryan DiGelinardo? Both of them having outstanding second quarters. Sutter kicks it over. Card, triple it. The response. Back and forth we go. This is some fun basketball, ladies and gentlemen. My word, we're only about halfway through it. Washington almost throws it away, but Patterson regains control. Trapped in the corner. Good defense there by Griffin Card and Eric Schermerhorn.
Timeout call. 11.7 seconds left on the clock, and it is a one-possession game. So Dunlap has been able to close it up really off of DiGelinardo's performance. My goodness, 8 points, all in the second quarter, I believe. It's been mostly his show here as of late.
As the Alex Evans show in the first half, or first quarter, I should say, with 11. DiGelinardo has added 8. They've combined for 19 of Dunlap's points. Griffin Card, another senior playing well on senior day. He's got 7. Just some real fun basketball being played here. But again, you can say there's a lot of fun, but it's also a lot at stake here in the Mid-Illini Conference here between these two teams, ranked number 4 and 5 in the standings. Washington, 3 on the clock. Brewers 3, no good off the rim. And Sutter brings in the board, and we end the first half in an offensive battle. 3s, blocks, fast breaks, fouls, you name it. We've seen it here in Dunlap. Washington, though, coming out of the fray, leading by 3.
Feels a little familiar. Feels like that first game where Washington
really
had the slim lead at half, but you knew that it wasn't going to stay that way necessarily because both of these teams are just too good. And we've seen a lot of gritty basketball. We've seen some great shooting from beyond the arc, frankly. 11 threes combined, I believe. Not entirely sure if that's accurate, but we've seen a lot of great shooting and a really exciting game so far. Looking forward to the second half.
Should be a good one. Physical play, some three-pointers, lots of emotion between these two teams. They definitely know that this game means something, as the Washington Panthers are 7-4 in the Mid-Illini. Dunlap chasing them at 5-6. They're also chasing them on the scoreboard, but the Eagles have already caught the Panthers once today back in that girls game, winning at the buzzer with Sophia Remmel being the hero with a corner three. Will Dunlap, will their boys team do something similar? It's very much in the cards. We'll see coming up here after the halftime break. We want to thank our great sponsor for tonight's broadcast, making today possible. Jake Weston, State Farm in Washington. For all of your insurance needs, give Jake a ring at 309-444-4441, or you can visit his website at JakeWestonInsurance.com. We'll take a quick break here on Clutch Sports Media. In the meantime, though, watch the Chuck-a-Duck, the fundraiser for the Sutton family. Yeah, if you've seen hashtag Team Tessa on your social media or around, raising money for that Dunlap student who fighting a rare form of cancer. They've done so much in assisting the Sutton family with those medical bills. Hopefully, wishing all the best for Tessa as the Ducks come raining down in Dunlap. You sit back and take a watch. Already a couple near the target. We'll take a quick break here from Clutch Sports and Media. We won't be chucking any Ducks, though, unfortunately. We wish we were. And come back here with the second half of action. Washington leading 34-31. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be back in a couple. Welcome back to Dunlap. Hope you all are having a great Saturday afternoon. You've seen a great first half of basketball here in Dunlap, where the visiting Washington Panthers lead 34-31. And there you're going to look at the Dunlap student section. They're showing out today. They've been loud, dressed in all black. It's Blackout Cancer Day here at Dunlap. Again, great cause that they're putting on this event for. Lots of festivities here, we should say, at Dunlap. Obviously, it's senior day for them, so a special day for the Dunlap seniors. And also, you can see the Blackout Cancer shirts in support of Tessa Sutton for Dunlap as well. And we're getting things ready to go here in the second half of action here. Taylor Thierer with it now for the Eagles as they trail by 3. This could tie it up. A 3 from Card, and it does. Griffin Card having a great day with 10 points so far for Dunlap.
Second player into double digits for them. Alex Evans was the first with an 11-point first quarter. Second quarter went to DeGilinardo, and we'll see who might be showing up here in the third quarter.
Deep 3 from Stewart, hops up and no good. Fought for it. There is Jamari White. He's a guard that plays a lot bigger than his size. Vanderheid's triple is no good. And the rebound goes to Austin Schaumburg. Logan Mason with it now for Dunlap. He is also one of their seniors. Another 3-ball from Card, no good. That one will go out of bounds. Taylor Thierer didn't feel like trying to dive right into that hand railing there in the front row. That would have been pretty dangerous.
It's an understandable reaction from Thierer. I would feel the exact same way.
I think my safety is a lot more important than trying to save the possession. At least at this juncture of the game. Maybe late in the game you really want to keep the ball and you never know.
Well,
Been a physical one so far.
Dunlap's had good protection inside, so there's a great chance they'll just get this ball right back. Tie game.
Dunlap students come alive as Logan Mason will get called for the foul on James Johnson, the freshman from Washington. Vanderheit will inbound it for the Panthers, and he'll find Bernie Winnie, who drained a 3-pointer and picked up a couple fouls in the first half, and right on cue. Another foul there for Dunlap. It's Griffin Card, and Josh, we mentioned fouls got to be key in this one. It's going to be close coming down the stretch, and these refs are not letting a lot slide. It's late season, so got to call it tight.
Yeah, 2 fouls already for Dunlap in the first minute and 20 seconds of this half. Not where you want to be.
Certainly not, as Washington now with an opportunity to take the lead. Winnie working, Stewart cuts back to the outside, but Vanderheid's the man to watch now. He drives the baseline, and what a finish. And he draws the foul. Braden Vanderheid is really starting to carry Washington. He's now got 10, and that's the second foul on Logan Mason, both here in the second half.
Vanderheit now leads all Washington scorers. And like you said, he was not effective in the first quarter, but second quarter onward, he's been on it.
He's been matching the ability of Dunlap's forwards as well. So this one, matchup of 2 very good forwards. And Winnie gets called for a rather ticky-tack foul there, but that'll be his 3rd. Looks like he'll be replaced by Andre Lewis checking in. Andre Lewis, the younger brother of former Washington Panther Drew Lewis, who is now playing the college ranks up at Minnesota State Mankato. Lots of former Panthers going on to play at the college level. You got Tyler Bass playing for Loris up in Dubuque, Iowa. Braden Vanderheit playing for the Lewis University Flyers at the Division II level. Many others in recent memory have gone on to play at the college level for Washington, as Thierer drives in with a wild shot, and Max Sutter got fouled there. Looks like that one will go on Braden Vanderheit.
5 fouls. 2:12 has elapsed since the half.
Lots of them so far. It's really not a surprise, though. It's been a very physical ball game.
Sure has.
And for Washington, you know, when you got 6'5" Max Sutter, who's got the ball now, and you got Schaumburg, who's very tall. You got DiGelinardo, very tall as well. Sometimes that's all you can do is foul. But Brewer, three-pointer in the corner is good. Left him wide open. Micah Brewer gives Washington a 6-point cushion. And there's another foul. That one will go on Mason. That's his 3rd foul in 2.5 minutes. So just like that, Logan Mason is in some major foul trouble, and Gabe Munoz comes in.
Especially being down now by 6. Dunlap just can't afford to make this many mistakes so early on.
And you know 6 points is not a huge deficit, but given how close this game has been, you want to stay lockstep as much as possible with them as Brewer drives in, kicks it now back out to Vanderheit. Johnson working on the post on Sutter and one! James Johnson. The matchup with the freshman, and he comes out victorious. A huge bucket for Washington. And those and ones are starting to be huge for the Panthers now. They're leading now 8.
That is an 8-0 run for Washington.
It's at least the 2nd or 3rd three-point play that Washington has had as Johnson finishes off the free throw. Now Dunlap, they need a response, trailing by 9. Who will it come from it? Maybe Munoz. His 3 ball is no good. And how about the hustle from Luke DiGelinardo? One-on-one on Johnson's no good, but Sutter with the tip. Great awareness there from Max Sutter to be right there to clean up the miss. It's a big shot there for Dunlap. This game very similar to the girls' game they saw right before. Washington holding a average about 4, 5, 6-point lead. Stewart's 3 is no good. That would have almost brought the Washington bench down to the floor. And Munoz steps into a 3, no good, but same sort of thing as Sutter gets called for the foul. He definitely hacked Vanderheit there. 6 fouls already for Dunlap, so after Washington picked up the first 2, Dunlap's been playing a little bit too aggressive, and now Washington's in the bonus for the rest of the game.
At this rate, they might be in the double bonus by the end of the 3rd quarter.
They would be, for sure. So something to watch. Mason's got 3 fouls. Sutter also just picked up his 3rd. Here's Johnson now with it, drives the post, and another foul on the Eagles. That may have been Sutter's 4th. And it looks like it was, so Sutter will come out, and Evans will check back in for the first time since that technical foul that he had after Jake Stewart's layup got blocked by Sutter, so.
Which is now almost the least of Dunlap's worries.
Certainly. Johnson's free throw is good. He's now up to 10. But Evans, again, great first quarter we saw from him. Had 11 points on 3 triples and a 2-pointer. And obviously, coaches weren't happy after that technical foul. And we'll get a foul call there on Washington that will go on Jamari White. So that's his 3rd.
And Schaumburg hit the deck again.
He did. That's it. I'll say confidently he's hit it at least 5 times today. So Austin Schaumburg is going to be sleeping well tonight. Maybe a little sore in the morning, but it's to be expected at this point of the season. There's 3 games left to go in the regular season for both these squads. Munoz gives it over to Card. Now DiGelinardo working on Vanderheit. Double teamed, and he drew the offensive foul. Vanderheit was set. I'm not quite sure. It looked like he may have flopped a little bit. Don't know for sure, though. The Dunlap student section doesn't like it. Either way, a nice job there done by Devin Vanderheit going up against DiGelinardo. And
fouls.
Dunlap will call a timeout. They certainly would like to reset here. Down 8.
With 8 fouls.
And lots of foul trouble. Sutter with 4, Mason with 3. So certainly something to watch, but Washington done all the right things so far in the second half. If we wanted to talk about fouls, they only have 3, and they've gotten it going down low against Dunlap's big forwards.
Yeah, they've corrected that problem because Washington had most of the fouls in the first half. They got up to 10 by about a minute or 2 left to go in the half. And they're sitting at 3, which would be fine ordinarily, but looks great today.
Certainly, and I'll take a quick break for our word from our sponsors, Jake Weston, State Farm in Washington. For all of your insurance needs, whether that's auto, home, or life, give Jake a call at 309-444-4441 or visit JakeWestonInsurance.com. I want to thank Jake for his support of local high school athletics here in the Peoria area. Washington outscored Dunlap 22-14 after they trailed 17-12 after the first quarter of play. A hot start for the Eagles, but it's been all Washington since. But you do have that feeling, though, that Dunlap can be right there with them because they can light up the scoreboard in a jiffy.
I think the key for them, for Dunlap, is a great stop here and then long possession that ends in points. We've seen already today in both games that's been a nice reset for both teams. I think if they just bide their time, look for the right opening, and score, then they'll be back in the right frame of mind.
So what their girls team did to come back is Brewer got fouled again. That will be 9 on Dunlap in the half, so a very good chance that Washington plays the entire fourth quarter and part of the third quarter in the double bonus. That one will go on Gabe Munoz, so that's his 3rd foul.
Yeah, giving Washington free throws was not part of the plan that I just mentioned.
Definitely not. Brewer gets the first one to fall. Obviously, if you're Dunlap, you can maybe hope that Washington not having a great day at the line, but so far they have made them pay. Not a lot of misses from the Panthers so far. And you get a good look at Brewer, who just drained his second, and the lead now 10 for Washington. So Dunlap needs to figure something out. 2:55 left to go here in the third quarter of play on Senior Day in Dunlap. Here's Schaumburg, a 3, and it's an air ball.
I didn't like the quick release there. I said you need a long possession, and to just take almost the first shot you get. I know they're down by 10 and things feel a little urgent, but I don't know.
It was a very deep 3, although Schaumburg does have that range. A lot of players on Dunlap have fantastic range, including Munoz and Card. Driving in at Schaumburg, trying to possibly draw a foul. Doesn't get the call there. Munoz driving in there on Gabe Patterson. Now it's Card with it. Schaumburg takes Jackson in down low. Floater with one hand is no good. DiGelinardo had it for a second. He still has it. And they finally call a jump ball. That will favor Washington. Dunlap was saying, why is that a jump ball? He came out of the scrum with it, but usually those refs are pretty quick to call it jump ball. They don't want anybody getting hurt.
And the ball goes right back to Washington.
Washington certainly, it seems like they're smelling blood in the water. Good defense, though.
Good pickoff.
Read the passing lanes. Now it's Schaumburg working on Stewart. They bring the double, and maybe not the wisest foul there on James Johnson. That will be, that's just his second. I admittedly thought he had more. That's actually his 3rd team foul, rather, so he will check out. Dunlap, they have lots of options. They've drained the 3 well today, and they can also get buckets to go down low, especially with this fella right here. Austin Schaumburg, step back from the free throw line is no good. Patterson almost lost it out of bounds, but regained control.
One player we haven't seen is Gabe Munoz, and he's been really effective this season. 18 points last night, none today, only taking a like 2 or 3 shots.
Schaumburg affected that release there by Vanderheit, but Jackson puts it back up and in. And the Panthers extend their lead out to 12. Dunlap, certainly they don't need to panic, but they need to pick up the offense a little bit. Only 5 points here in the second half. Munoz, and that'd be what they need. The 3-ball up off the top of the backboard, no good. Bodies hitting the floor. There's 3 of them, 4 of them, 5 of them. 2 players hit the deck, and then Sutter, I believe, or no, Evans hit the floor, got back up, and then hit the floor again, and I think he took Jackson with him. Dunlap will reset. Hopefully maybe stay upright at least, and they turn it over. Jackson. Washington's played some fantastic defense, coming away with lots of turnovers. It's tough to come back if you can't get shots off in the first place.
It has been all Washington in the second half so far. Exactly what they need to do. A lot on the line.
They've outscored on 14-5, and again, this win would be huge for Washington. It would clinch that they would finish no worse than 4th in the conference, with Dunlap trailing them by 2 games, with 2 conference games for each team left after this. Panthers will play Canton and Morton. Dunlap will play Morton and then Metamora.
And Washington with a shot at being the 2nd seed, maximum, depending on how this goes.
Second place in the standings in the Mid-Illini Conference. They're chasing East Peoria and Morton as time winding down here in the 3rd quarter. Nice possession by the Panthers. Brewer adjusts. No good. First tip was no good. Second one, though, is. And how about that 3rd quarter from the Washington Panthers? They outscored Dunlap 16-5, and after being the ones bullied in the post for the first half, they really took Dunlap to school in the 3rd quarter right there, Josh.
Yeah, Washington just executed. It's what they did. They come out of this quarter with 4 fouls on the half to 9. We've already talked about that extensively.
It's about the story of this one, but.
Right, pretty much. But yeah, Washington's locked down Dunlap on defense. They've executed on offense. They're staying out of foul trouble. Not much more you could ask for if you're Eric Schermerhorn.
Dunlap has a chance for a big comeback, and their 3-point threats get it done. We'll have to see. But first, we'll step aside a word from our sponsors, Jake Weston, State Farm in Washington. For all of your insurance needs, give Jake a call at 309-444-4441, or you can visit him online at jakewestoninsurance.com. See if the Panthers need any insurance to hold their 14-point lead, but if so, probably not much. They're playing very well here. It's been a little bit of a down year for Washington by their standards, Josh. Obviously 14-11, ball down near Champaign-Urbana. But they've had some down points this year, but they play a tough schedule. Obviously, tournament champions. We saw them right away to start the season. So they're, I think, a lot better than their record indicates, as is Dunlap, too. I think 2 teams that could really make some noise in the playoffs.
Yeah, and we've seen at points the potential of both teams today. Washington, we've seen their potential a lot during this past quarter.
Sutter with a nice feed down to DiGelinardo, up and good. Dunlap needs some more of that. That was working for them. Their bread and butter in the 2nd quarter.
That is DiGelinardo's 10th point of the day, and we have not seen him much in this second half so far. He would be a big key.
Vanderheit drives in the lane, and with the miss, Gabe Patterson was right there. Gets the offensive rebound, and immediately Eric Schermerhorn calls a timeout. So the 3rd-year man for Washington wants to change something around, and they're going to look at some of the Panthers. Schermerhorn in his 3rd year, obviously at Washington, taking over after the unfortunate passing of the late Kevin Brown, a legendary coach in which the Tournament of Champions is played in honor of in Washington. Again, a great tournament that we love going to. The last 2 years we've had a real ball broadcasting it, but you know, filling Kevin Brown's shoes wasn't easy. Schermerhorn has done a great job in doing so. 52-20, his record so far on the sidelines of the Washington Panthers. And they lead by 14, looking for their 8th win in the Mid-Illini Conference so far this year.
So Dunlap, They need to get something going here. 7 minutes left. Oh, that's not it.
And that'll be a foul there on Taylon Thier. Really had no other option other than to just give Brewer the layup. That will be the 10th foul on Dunlap, so Washington shooting 2 the rest of the way out. They've been shooting well from the stripe. Of course, as I say it, broadcaster
Naturally.
jinx. I hate when that happens because I feel like I don't want to be the reason that somebody misses a free throw, but it really is uncanny sometimes for broadcasters. You say something out, how something's working really good or they're making all their shots, and then whenever you say it, it seems to be almost the kiss of death. So, but
Got the second one, though.
we'll see. Yes, he did make the second one. His Card launches a 3,
There
and that's
it is.
good. Card's got 13 for Dunlap, and they're going to need a couple more triples from him and his teammates. They can certainly do so. Patterson drives in, kicks out to Brewer on the perimeter. How about the defense there from Dunlap? Better ball movement from Washington. Duncan's 3 is no good, and Evans and Vanderheit were fighting for it. Jump ball will favor Washington, so it'll stay on the right side of the court. 3 subs come in for the Panthers. It will be Stewart, Johnson, and Winnie, and Jackson, Patterson, and Brewer check out.
8 different players have scored for Washington, only 5 for Dunlap so far.
It's a little bit of a surprise. Dunlap, a very deep team, obviously. They have other players like Luke DiGianardo and Gabe Munoz, who haven't scored yet. Logan Mason hasn't scored either. He's an impact player for them off their bench. And what a block there from Ryan DiGianardo, I should say. And buys it the floor. Here comes Max Sutter. Will it be showtime? It is! Max Sutter lets him know about it, and he draws the foul, too.
And there
How
it
about
is.
that to hype up the gym?
There's an explosive play that puts Dunlap back only 10 points behind. An extra may give them only a 9-point deficit, and this might be the Kickstarter. Fans are back into it. The bench is back into it. We might see something here.
You knew Max Sutter wanted to throw one down badly today, and he finally got it. The student section rises to their feet, and they're back in this one. Misses the free throw, but gets his offensive board, and his layup no good. Great rebound there from Vanderheit, pulling it out of a couple Eagles who were eager to pull it out. Brewer, step back mid-range, no good. Now here comes Sutter. He wants to take it in all the way, and he rifled in a pass, but it goes off of a Panther. Max Sutter's got a heck of an arm on him, Josh. He's a freshman quarterback for their football team. He's going to be in competition for the varsity quarterback starting spot next year, so there's a heck of an athlete coming up the ranks for the Dunlap Eagles.
Yeah, he had the right idea there, but a little too much strength on that pass.
His quick shot no good, so he was trying to heat up. Maybe it wasn't quite as hot as he had wanted to be. Pass goes over to Jabari White. DiGianardo closes back out. Dunlap almost comes away with a steal.
A couple of nice passes there.
Great defense, just slightly better ball movement. Really high-level basketball being played here in Dunlap. Vanderheit trapped in the corner, finds White wide open down low. Simple turnaround is up and good. Believe it or not, that might be Jamari White's first bucket of the game.
I believe so, and the 9th different Panther to score.
Dunlap back down by 12, so even after that dunk from Sutter, they're right back where they were. Sutter finds DiGianardo.
That was much better.
A nice feed down low, a pretty pass, and a soft lay-in. Both these teams so fun to watch. It's been a ball here in Dunlap. Vanderheit trapped, finds Brewer. Big 3 on the way, it's good! Micah Brewer silences the crowd. He's up to 12, and Washington now leads by their largest margin of the game. It's 13.
Just when you thought things might be switching around, here comes Brewer with an electric 3 from the wing.
And how about that takeaway from Vanderheit? He's been all over the place on defense, passing the ball, shooting the ball. Johnson feeds White. Wide open, and Washington is starting to pull away with this one. 60-45, they lead. And a big response after that huge slam from Max Sutter. Washington was just completely unfazed.
Yeah, that's the kind of play that changes these types of games. It really is, but Washington was able to take it in stride. They come right back down the field. They get a couple of turnovers, get a couple of shots, and the lead is 15.
Washington's just got to close the door at this point, although if you're Dunlap, they do like to shoot a lot of threes. And if you use the three-point math, they're only 5 buckets behind. So if you can get Munoz and Card maybe to start shooting some threes as well. Schaumburg can drain threes. Sutter can drain threes. Literally everybody on the court at all times for Dunlap is a threat to shoot. So there have been lots of things open down low, but credit Eric Schermerhorn and the defense that he's set up for Washington to prevent Dunlap from wanting to kill him from the three-point range, instead forcing them to go down low.
And even if you did execute 5 straight threes, there's almost no way that you could just completely shut down Washington on the opposite end of the court.
At least the way that they've been playing. Not saying
Exactly.
it's impossible, but they're very hot. Munoz pushes the ball up the floor for Dunlap. Again, senior day here at the Eagles' Nest. They certainly don't want to go out with a whimper, and I doubt that they would. Schaumburg drives the lane, trying to draw a foul. That would have been probably going on Vanderheit, but no good. And there's a foul. That one may go on Schaumburg. He got absolutely just obliterated.
Bowled over.
Austin Schaumburg's a pretty big man, too. That's not easy to do.
And that might put him in double digits as far as trips to the floor.
It very well might. Loved Schaumburg's effort, really everyone's effort. It's been a really great ball game to watch. Highly contested, obviously, lots to play for. It's doubtful that either of these teams will win the Mid-Illini Conference. It seems to be Metamora's, and I believe they either have or will probably do so very soon, lock up the conference title. What a season the Redbirds are having, and you can certainly see them down at the State Farm Center for State yet again as James Johnson gets one of his 2 free throws to go. DiGelinardo's turnaround, too much of a line drive, and now Washington comes the other way. Here's Jamari White, added 2-on-1. Thought that maybe we'd see a Panther try and throw one down. Instead will be another foul for Dunlap.
Tail of the second half so far.
That one goes on Schaumburg. That's his 3rd, so nobody's fouled out for Dunlap yet, but they have a couple players with 3 or 4 fouls. White's first free throw gets the shooter's roll. Starting to come alive after not scoring earlier on. He's now got 5. 6 players for Washington. Josh, you mentioned their array of scoring options. They have 11, so it was a new nucleus for this Washington team, but they've really came together over the course of the season, and it culminates in an effort like this.
And the action has been really well spread out amongst this team too. Like Dunlap, in the first quarter we had Alex Evans, got out 11 points, hasn't scored since, I don't think. DiGelinardo went on a good run there, but it's been very streaky, like one player at a time. Washington has just done a good job of getting everyone involved throughout all stages of this game.
It's a consistent effort, and as they say, you never want to get too high, you never want to get too low, though. There's a couple times where Washington looks like they might lose the lead. A good steal here from Gabe Munoz, who lays it in.
He gets on the board.
Finally, at long last, after scoring 18 last night, it's a big bucket there for Dunlap. See what kind of press they bring Munoz. And now here's Johnson. And Card almost climbed his back. Took a tough fall, got right back up. Layup there for Johnson, adds to his total. Max Sutter working with it now on Johnson. Washington, you hear their bench clapping it up. They like the defensive effort so far in the second half. They've allowed just 16 points since the intermission. And they look to be in good possession to finish this one out. Wide open Vanderheit down low, and one! Story of the ball game. Braden Vanderheit has been taking Dunlap and giving them as much as they can handle.
It was a great pass and it was a great bucket in the face of a lot of contact. He was able to draw the foul and get it in regardless. 20-point lead. We were tied about 30 seconds into this half.
We were. We thought we were going to get a down-to-the-wire finish, but Washington just
stomped on the gas.
That was one way to put it. They about sent the gas pedal through the front of the car. Vanderheit now with a chance to finish off the three-point play. He's had an amazing afternoon. And that one is up and good. He's got 15. For Dunlap, it looks like it's going to be a tough loss for them. They hung with Washington very well for majority of this one, but eventually the bigs just got worn out, and you saw Jamari White and Brayden Vanderheit just start to really dissect Dunlap. They found lots of open shots and great defense that Washington played too. I think that's where it all started for them as Card lays it in. Body's still hitting the floor here in Dunlap. Eagles, they're not giving up, that's for sure.
That's the kind of team that this Dunlap team is. Like,
they really are.
They will bring you down to the wire. It might not be close, but they'll give it 100% effort regardless, like we just saw. We've seen it all game, and they're not letting off the gas, even though they just haven't been able to get that many results out of it.
Certainly, and I think the key for Dunlap, going into the playoffs, at least from the small sample size I've seen from them this year, Jackson, range the free throw, is they get out to great starts. They're running gun, they're draining threes, and then afterwards they kind of start to slow down a little bit. So they try and keep it a more sustained effort throughout the 4 quarters of the ball game. I think if Dunlap can do that, though, they'd be a very hard team to beat. Lots of talent, lots of shooters, lots of size on this Dunlap team, as Austin Schaumburg and Griffin Card check out for likely the last time here on Senior Day. A couple other seniors come in for Dunlap, including Jonathan Bai, Alex Evans, Logan Mason. Here's Taylor Thierer. Hasn't scored yet, but he'll get a chance as he draws the shooting foul. And here's Thierer, misses his first free throw. Again, coming up for both these teams next. Dunlap will have a game against Ottawa on Wednesday, a non-conference foe. And for Washington, they will host Manual on Tuesday before playing Kitten and then Morton. So some big games coming up for them. Here's a 3-ball from Will Martin, number 50. A sophomore guard adds himself to this scoring book.
That makes 10.
10 players have scored for the Panthers, and they are just running away in this one. The scoreboard really not telling the full story in it, as Thierer's 3 is up and good. He gets his first field goal of the ball game. But you said it, Josh. I mean, it seemed like just a couple minutes ago we were locked in a 6-7 point game. And a blink of an eye, James Johnson, freshman, played really well. Vanderheit, Jake Stewart had some massive plays as well. Micah Brewer, everybody getting in the act for Washington. That's what makes them so dangerous. Don't write off the Washington Panthers for sure. That would be a cardinal sin going into the playoffs.
They'll give Morton and East Peoria a run for their money to be finishing second in the Mid-Illini standings.
That game against Morton to finish off the season will be big. Maybe second place could be on the line that day. Obviously, East Peoria is still very much in the mix as well. And we had a line change for Dunlap. Luke DiGelinardo and Will Rankin. Carson Bergschneider will come in. Jonathan Bai, again, he's been in for a little bit. The senior center getting some minutes. And Dante France comes in for the Eagles as well. Washington looks like they might just run this one out, and they will, just around the perimeter. And fundamental basketball just to close this one out. They don't need to score anymore. They put up 73 on Dunlap, and they take down the Eagles on Senior Day, 73-53. They blow it open in the second half. 3 players in double figures for Washington.
That is about as good of a half of basketball as you can hope to have here in the Mid-Illini Conference. All these teams are so good. To be able to outscore their opponents by so much and win by 20 after being tied in that same half really speaks to the depth of this Washington Panthers team and the well-roundedness of them also. Great offense, great defense. They didn't have too many flashy plays in this game, really. The flashy plays, if you look at the highlight reel, you're going to see a lot of Dunlap because they had those great blocks and a lot of contact, a lot of great shots. But Washington was just clean and consistent all the way through. 73 points in the high school game, rather high scoring for them. And headed into these last couple of games before the playoffs, Washington's heating up just a little bit. Better watch out if you're in the Mid-Illini Conference.
Yeah, don't write off Washington just yet. And you said it, Josh. This Washington team's always very methodical, fundamentally sound, and they just kind of grind you down. You said not very flashy. They're not going to throw down any fast break dunks or start pouring in threes like 3 or 4 in a row. But they will win ball games just like they did there with some great defense. They'll draw some fouls, get some big buckets down low as they did with Johnson and Vanderheit. So, again, great game played from the Dunlap Eagles. They were right there with them. They'll be looking for some revenge possibly against Morton and Metamora to close out their Mid-Illini slate as well. Just 3 games remain for both these teams before the playoffs, but today in Dunlap, it was a double-header split. Dunlap takes the girls' game on a thriller. Sophia Rebel wins it right before the buzzer, and Washington the winner here of the boys' game. So it's been a real fun afternoon here in Dunlap. Glad you all tuned in here on Clutch Sports Media. Stay tuned to our social media for some schedule announcements, although we will tell you, you'll be seeing the Washington Panthers pretty soon. We'll give you a little hint about that. But for all of our hardworking crew here at Clutch Sports Media, our producer and director, Rodrigo Perez, our camera extraordinaire, Francisco Alonso, and another game camera extraordinaire as well, Patrick Huber, helping us out as well. For my broadcast partner, Josh Messenger, doing a great job of stepping in kind of last minute into the booth today. It's real fun calling the games with you, and I hope you had all that fun watching at home. But for everybody here at Clutch Sports Media, I'm Jonathan Michael saying so long from Dunlap. The girls win at the buzzer, and the Washington boys win on a huge second half. Great basketball all around, and thank you all for tuning in. We'll talk to you next time, folks.